So we're at 10 after, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're so excited that you're here. Today we're going to be covering some really cool improvements to the software. I know we personally have been anticipating them and excited to show them. So we hope that you've gotten a chance to even poke around with a few of them, but we hope that you're excited about them as well. If at any point in time we're going through one of the features and you are really excited about it, we would love to hear about it. So put that in the chat. We would love to share that with our team if it's something you guys have requested. We want to hear that feedback as well. So these sort of software updates have been things that hopefully will improve your everyday workflows and analytics and more right inside the Ving platform. So what's in the update? We're going to go through each of these in a little bit more detail here in a second. And then even after that, we're going to actually jump into the tool and I'm going to walk you through each of these different updates so you can see exactly where each of them are. But in this update, we have updated creating and assigning both internal and external courses, how to mark trainings as complete, assign courses without any notifications, the ability to expire courses. So courses now have expiration dates. They also have auto-generated certificates. And then as well, employees and admins both are able to now upload their own certificates. So we're super excited about this. We're going to kick off with creating and assigning internal and external courses. And the reality is that one size really doesn't fit all anymore. Right before COVID, everybody was doing in-person trainings. You guys probably remember calling everybody into a room. You would all do a training together and you would, sign a sign-in sheet. Everything was in person. Then the whole world got flipped upside down and then everybody was doing training online. Well, now we're back to this sort of hybrid methods, and some people are doing their assignments on their own devices. Some people are doing them in a classroom setting. Some people are at home. Some people are even just watching over another person's shoulder. Some people are even going elsewhere to a third-party site, or maybe a safety person coming in from a third-party company. And so really training is happening in a lot of different areas. So we've upgraded our assignment area to be able to handle all of those different scenarios in one place, so that you don't have to be jumping all around just to track who's done what training and when. With that comes marking training as complete. Sometimes even odd situations happen. Sometimes you might be training people in person and you need to just come back and say, check, check, check. These 3 people were in the room and they all did their training. Or maybe, you have one person who's tech savvy and another who is friends with them, who they were just doing training together on their phones. And so though it wasn't planned, you still just need a way to mark their training as complete. And now you can mark their training as complete manually. And so goodbye are the days of either redoing training when things didn't go expected, or just being able to more quickly mark those trainings as complete when they're in person, but still doing those Ving online courses. Next is assigning courses without notification. And what that means is there are times where, if you think about like onboarding or things like that, where you might want to assign out 30 courses to someone so they can kind of, or maybe it's less, maybe it's like 10 courses and you want them to work through them, but you don't need them to get 10 text messages or 10 emails or things like that. So now you can actually assign courses out without ever having to send a notification, and it will just preload their to-do list in their Ving account for them. So that's really cool, and we'll get to that too. Next is course expiration date. So most trainings have to be done at some cadence, right? Maybe they're twice a year, maybe it's once a year, maybe it's once every 2 years. And it's kind of been hard to tell who's done what training, who needs to do what training, who's in compliance in regards to the expiration date of a training, right? And we've kind of managed this, and you probably have managed this with labels right now, but now each course can actually be given an expiration date. So you can say, from the date that this training is due, 365 days from that, they will need to redo it again because it is a requirement. So this is going to make that more seamless, and it's going to tie right into those colors on your homepage. So that way you know who is approaching an expiration date or who has already expired. Next is our auto-generated certificates. This is one that I know a lot of people hopefully are super excited that it's here. So when someone completes a training, or if you manually mark them as completed, an auto-generated certificate will be created for those courses. That auto-generated certificate is then available for the admin, but it's also available in your employees done folder. So if they ever need to download it and share it with someone, they can do that right in the field. But you also will have a record of it for your own sake right inside on their Ving account and on the course account. Lastly, you employees and admins both can upload certificates. So this might be, maybe you guys have a specific company certificate that you want it with your company logo. You want it to be different than our auto-generated ones, and that's totally fine. Admins can upload those as well. Or the scenario that might come up even more often is maybe you want to send someone to a third-party website, say, hey, do this training over on their site. When they're done with it, that site's going to give them a proof of completion or certificate. And both the employee then could upload it right away, or if they're not feeling tech savvy, and they could send it to an admin, and then the admin can upload it. So it saves a lot of time. So you don't actually, if your employees are able to, you can just link them to where they need to go. They can do the training, they can upload their own certificate, and they'll be right off. So there's hopefully a lot less admin load, but even then a little less confusion on the employee side as well. Okay, so like I promised, we're going to get into the tool, and I'm going to show you exactly where all these different things are. So let me get set up for that. So first up is creating and assigning internal and external courses. Okay, so what you'll do now is you're going to go to the course area, and you'll see that there is a new drop down here that is courses or requirements. So then what comes is the real clarity is what makes something a course and what makes something a requirement. So a course, and when we go in here to create a course is anything that they're doing online, right? You've uploaded all the videos, all of the documents, you've uploaded all the tests. They're doing all of it here in the system. And when they complete it, we're going to auto-generate a certificate for them automatically because there's nothing they're going anywhere else for. If they need to get a certificate from someplace else, right? Maybe they're doing a CPR training and someone's giving them a certificate. Maybe you're sending them somewhere else to a third-party website where they need to do training and they're going to get a proof of completion from that site. Those are going to be requirements. So again, courses, they're doing all of the training inside of Ving. And when I say inside of Ving, they also could be doing those Ving trainings in a group in a classroom, right? But the course is all Ving content and it's a Ving auto-generated certificate. The requirement means the certificate is coming from somewhere else, right? And your employee needs to be able to upload it. So if we put a requirement in here, and let's say that they're doing CPR training and they're doing, CPR training with organization A on, how to perform CPR, and you can come up with an amazing summary. That's much better than mine. And when we click save here, you'll see that one of the components is actually a certificate of completion component. And you can even say, like, maybe it's going to be a 60-minute class. So you're sending them to a location or a CPR person is coming into the office, whatever is happening. But that whole class should be about 60 minutes. So we can give a timestamp there. And we can even add other components. So this screen looks very similar to the course screen, right? Because maybe it's not in person. Maybe you just need to link somewhere on the website. Like, hey, you need to go to this website, complete the test there. And when you're done, upload proof that you've completed it. Maybe you're sending them, you just need to tell them something. Like maybe you'll use the text box and say, hey, here's the address for the location that you need to go to get your CPR training or to do this hearing test or to do any sort of thing. And you're going to have to park on the left side of the building. So any of those sort of directional or specific things that they would need to know, you can include as a text box, a recording. You can record audio. You can even test their knowledge still. So if you send them to a third-party site and maybe that site doesn't have, maybe they just have like a proof of completion, but you want to ask some very specific questions, you can still do that. You can upload images, files, audio, video, all of the normal stuff. You'll put it right here with your certificate. And then when you're done, you'll just click publish. So now when someone's coming through here and completing this training, they'll do all of the components you've added, and then they'll be able to actually drop the file right here. So that way you don't have to go back and upload it if they're able to do that themselves. So hopefully, and let us know in the chat what you think about this, the ability to kind of log courses all here together in one place. So you can actually see all of your stuff where it's happening. Next comes marking training as complete. So this is huge, right? You might have, let's say you're getting in a class and your guys are going to be doing driving distractions, right? And there's a group of them, these, like, let's say these 5 people here, right? They've all done it online. They're tech savvy. They like doing it online. They just prefer that way. And then maybe you met with a few of them. We'll say these 3 or 4 people were all in a class today. You showed them the Ving videos on the screen. You went through the documents together. You went through the tests together. All you have to do now is just set as complete, and you'll click complete. And then you'll see that their analytics are updated. And over here on the right-hand side, a certificate has been auto-generated for them. So you'll see the date that it was still due and when they were assigned and all of that. You'll also see the new date here of when it was completed. And then as well, kind of spoiler alert, you'll see the expiration date here on the side. You can mark things as complete both on the employee side and on the contact side or on the course side. So let's say you're reviewing with someone and hey, this person's done all of these trainings. You can mark them here as well. And again, just mark them as set as complete. So when any of those scenarios happen, if they're doing training in a group, maybe they did a training, but there was an internet connection issue, maybe something didn't save quite right, you can go in and just set them as complete now. Next is assigning. And again, if you guys have any questions, we'll stop real quick before I go on to the next one. If you have any questions, don't forget, you can put them in the chat. Over on the chat, we'll be doing questions and answers right at the end. So if you have any questions, please dump them in there. If you are going over anything that you guys are loving, we would love to hear your feedback on what you think about these different areas. So please feel free to put your thoughts in there. And again, we'll just keep going on. But if you have any questions and answers, don't forget to put those in the chat. So assigning courses without a notification is our next thing. So we have found that from time to time, you need to assign a bulk amount of courses all at the same time, but you don't necessarily want them to get 10 notifications or 5 notifications or 5 text messages or things like that. So now what you can do, you'll select the courses just like you're used to, click the schedule button. We'll put a person's name in. Let's say I'm going to start working, we'll say I'm going to start working on the 16th. So we can come in here, set these all to be the 16th. You have all of the same function that you had before. You can delete them if you selected one that you accidentally didn't mean to. You can also drag and drop them if you want them to go in a specific order for not necessarily when they're going all at the same time, but maybe when you're sending them weekly or monthly, you can rearrange them. There is a new button right here in the top right corner of this modal, and it is a no notification button. And so what that will do is it will load all of these courses into my to-do list without actually having to send an email or a text notification. So this is great for situations like onboarding or things like that. And you'll see those can still be scheduled out in the future over there too. Course expiration dates. So each course, when you're looking into it, comes with an expiration date. So expiration date is how many days after the due date should it be done again. So if this training needed to be done once a year, we might put 365 days and click save. So that way, whenever I assign it to someone, they maybe have, this one says that it needs to be done in 5 days. So they have 5 days from the assignment. 5 days from the assignment is the due date. And then 365 days from that due date is when it expires. So 365 days from the due date is when it expires. And those expirations follow those same cadences with those red, yellow, green faces. So as someone's getting close to an expiration date or something like that, what's going to happen is their faces are going to start turning different colors. So they'll start turning yellow or orange or red so that somebody is approaching an expiring course so that to reassign it to them. Okay, we've talked about this next one a few times, auto-generated certificates. It's right over here. What happens as soon as someone completes a course, whether they've completed the course, whether you've marked it as complete, A certificate will be auto-generated. You then can click on the auto-generated certificate if you ever need to print them out or see them. But each certificate will come with who the certificate is for, who it came from, right? So your company name will be there, what the course was, more about the course, just in case they need to have that, a certificate number, the date it was issued, who issued it, right? Who was it administrated by, and then a proof that it was delivered by our app, and then your company logo as well. So this will all be custom to your training specifically and to your training employees as well. So all of those certificates will appear there. Lastly, still talking about certificates, you'll see a little up arrow. So whether it's a course or a requirement, whether they're doing it in person or online or whatnot, if you guys have a specific certificate that you would like to upload, you'll just click the little upload arrow and you can drop the file in here. It can be a PDF or it can be an image. If someone sent you a JPEG or a PNG file, you can upload those right here as certificates. So that way you can use our auto-generated if you want to, or you can even upload your own certificates as well. Okay, so we'll transition now. Let me go back kind of to the home screen here. I know we've sort of gone through a lot, and I hope that you guys are excited about these things that we've been talking about today. I'm going to scroll back through the questions and I'll start at the top. But if you have any, please feel free to put them in the chat and we can kind of work through those too. I see that someone is excited about the auto-generated certificates. I think they're amazing. And I think that hopefully it's going to be super helpful and a little less admin work on you guys' side for sure. So what's the difference between a complete date and an expiration date? So a complete date, and you'll see those here, there are a lot of different things in this kind of column up here at the top. And so the assigned date is the date that someone has assigned the training. Last invited, if you needed to send like another reminder or something like that, that's what this date is. So if they've gotten the last time they got, reminded about the training, when was that? Visits is how many times they've looked at the course, right? They've just gone in and visited it. That doesn't mean they've visited the entire thing. It just means how many times have they gone in to visit. When is it due, right? That's depending on the days that you put in. When should they have it complete? The number of minutes that they have viewed so far. Progress here, when it's a check mark, that means 100%. The score here, this is when they've finished tests. The score will show how they've done on all of the tests. If the progress is still like being filled out, let's say it says 75% progress and it has a score here, that's just their score so far. Once they have the check mark and a score, that's their score kind of overall. The completed date is the date that they finished. So whenever they have completed 100%, we give you a date here so that you know when they have actually completed the training. And then expires is whatever the date was. So if you said 30 days or 60 days or whatever, from the date that it was due. So the expiration dates are always off of the due dates as well. Okay, so what goes on a certificate? Where does the description part come from? Things like that. So on the certificate, you'll have noticed the title. That's coming from right here. The description comes right here. So if you guys have created your own courses, you'll want to definitely go in, make sure the title looks good, make sure the description makes sense for what's going to be on those certificates. And then from there, the rest are what you have loaded in your account. So for example, this comes from the company logo. So if you don't know where your company logo is, it's up here. You have to be a logo admin to get to it. So underneath your profile, if you're a logo admin, you'll see a logo button right here. If you need to update your logo or you don't see access to it, and you should, feel free to just reach out to Karen@vingapp.com and we can get that updated for you. And then everything else comes from what's in your account. So this is the issue date. That's just the date that they completed. Administered by, that's the person who assigned it to them. And those names and things will all come from whatever is in your actual Ving account. Can you mark requirements as complete? Absolutely. So when you're in the course area, let's toggle over to a requirement. So let's say you sent someone out to do electrical training and they were having a hard time uploading the file. So you were like, hey, just email it to me and I'll get it for you. All you'll want to do is come in here and click this little, where you see the certificate, it will actually be an up arrow and you can upload those certificates there. Yes, someone was saying that they're glad it's recorded. Yes, we always record these, especially because of the timing of this one near the holiday. We knew everyone would be super busy. So we're going to record it. It is recording, and then we'll upload it shortly after we get off the call today. Yes, so someone was asking if they've had requirements before, where are they, right? What happens to the requirements that were there before? You should see them all still here under the requirements area. Depending on how you were using this area, everything's great and you can just leave it. Some people were creating, obviously, before we were able to manually assign courses. So, like if you were using this requirements tool to track your in-person training, of course, you have two options. You can just leave them as is. Or if you want to, you could always go to the course, the Ving course that you did in person. You can assign it to them without a notification. And then because you can mark them as complete, you can mark them as complete so that all of your analytics are in one place. Can an admin and the learner both load a certificate for the same course? So there can only be one certificate loaded per course. So if the employee does it already, then it will be up there first, and then you won't be able to like upload anything different. Or if they haven't and they send it to you, then you can upload it. So there's one certificate per kind of like an entry to a course. Those are good questions. And I'll leave the questions open for just a little bit longer while everyone's still here. So if you have any questions, please feel free to jump those in. Again, we'd love to hear your feedback of what you think of these different areas. If they met your expectations, we love even feedback if they didn't. So feel free to send all of those over. After this call, the recording will be emailed out. It'll take us just a little bit to get it together, but then that will go out. As well, if anybody wants to have a meeting to go through these different things, like, hey, this was really great, but I'd love just like one-on-one with me so that way we can walk through your specific company's needs. Absolutely. And we can get you the link. Steph, maybe you can send my meeting link as well in the chat so they have it for them. So if you guys want to schedule a call, you can as well. If certificates expire, can we delete old and upload a new? So when your certificate expires or their course expires, you'll actually want to make a copy of the course, and then you'll want to or the requirement, whichever it is, and then reassign it to them so that you can upload the new certificate on that new assignment. So instead of just replacing the old, what you'll do is assign them kind of a new course or new requirement. And then if you already have the certificate, you can just immediately upload it and then it'll be done. Any other questions? Is there a matrix view on the certifications? Pull a report that shows all of someone's courses and their expiration dates in one view instead of a list. Yes. So you can actually, let me go into a person's record. You can actually export all of their data here. So on this export, it'll generate an export. It will pull it to your email address. Let me open up that export so we can see it. All of the data there, though, is available, and then you can actually see everything in one place. You can do this by person. You also can do this by course or by requirement too. So however you want to look at it. Give me just one more second and I will open this up so we can see it together. Okay. So once you have it downloaded, and you can use whatever spreadsheet tool is your favorite. I'm most comfortable with Google Slides. So you can open it whatever. So there are default fields here that you'll see. You'll see all about this one person. So you'll see their name, all of the things they were assigned to. what the lengths of those trainings were, just in case you guys need to do like, if you're paying people for how much time they took or things like that, you'll see those, the lengths there whenever there is one. If they were required or not, dates they were assigned, dates they were due, dates they completed, when they were set complete. Like, so if someone went in and manually set them as complete, like when did that happen? When were they last viewed? All this sort of stuff. The other thing I like to point out is we tried to make this export cleaner so that way, um, you can see everything. You also can actually unhide fields. So if there's extra fields that like you're not seeing right here, you can actually keep unhiding them. So like last invited is here, and you can see those here. There's a ton more down this way too. So you can kind of keep unhiding those fields. Oh, expiration dates in that report. You know what? I don't think with this exact release expirations, like the report got updated with the expiration dates. Let me check though back with our team and I'll see if that's a plan for like the next release. A lot of the times they get the feature. And then after that, if there's any like things added to the export, we can get that in there. But it doesn't look like as of right now, the expiration date is actually, yeah, date assigned, date due, date completed, the date it was set by. Yeah, I don't see the expiration on this one. Yeah, definitely. Like Steph said in the chat, we'll put this on the roadmap. We can even reach out to our team too. I know they're doing a lot of stuff already and working on the next best thing. So we'll shoot that to them in their direction too. Thanks, Jamie. Anybody else have questions? Okay, awesome. If you do, feel free to chat. But again, we will be sharing this recording afterwards. We know it's the holiday. We know it was kind of last minute, but we wanted to make sure that you guys got this. And so we'll send the recording to you so you can have access to it. We will also share my one-on-one meeting link. So if you guys want to schedule time, especially because it's the end of the year, it's the perfect time to kind of connect together so we can reset. Even if it ends up being in January, we can still help you get set up for your year. So that way Ving is kind of running and you can do your thing. We are so glad that you came. Thanks for participating with us. If you have any questions, always feel free to email me at karen@vingapp.com or you can chat. If it's a content question, Steph's always there and available, stephanie@vingapp.com. We hope you love the release and we can't wait to see what you think about it. Have a great day, everybody.